I feel compelled this week to I gotta talk about vaginas.
Oh, hey, you know what? That's something we can both agree on.
It's Saturday, January 23rd, 2021. This is episode 036. You are about to go down the rabbit hole with Joe and Brian. I'm Brian. With me, as always, my good friend Joe. Joe, how you doing?
I'm well on yourself.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing
Good,
good.
very good.
Yeah, yeah. So, first off, I think I want to apologize to the audience. Obviously, we didn't make it Thursday. We both just had work commitments that got in the way, and unfortunately, that has to take priority.
Yeah, and I got at least 2 emails about it.
I got questioned about it as well.
Yeah, so yeah.
So we got 3 people we know listen.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, so so that's good. But yeah, we're. I
Actually,
wish. I
four.
really wish.
4 people are listening.
Okay, 4. Um.
Big Brother.
Okay. I I wish I could get my little brother to listen, but good luck. Good luck with that.
Little brothers are like that.
I guess.
You know, they're like puppies. Like if there's a direction you want them to go in, they're guaranteed to go in every other direction. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
rule.
If it's not sports or motocross or whatever, he's just not interested.
Wow.
So
I'm
he, he
jealous of
he
folks
he
like that.
he gauges things in that because he's in construction, and so he gauges a good presidency based on
If
how
he's working.
busy. Yeah, how much work there is that year. So I can understand that.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. So what was I going to say? I don't know. Anyway, um, Joan is with us.
Hey, Joan.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be getting lippy with us, Joan.
Yeah, I don't know what you and Joan have against Joe Biden. I mean, I guess I kind of know, but I don't know what Joan's problem with Joe Biden is.
It's the principle of the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't understand the principle. I don't understand the principle.
Oh well. Really, what we want to know is
Motherfucker, give me 2 fingers of Southern Comfort.
what the bartender bring you tonight, Joe?
Bartender brought me once again a Joe High Classic rum and coke.
Mm,
This is a different rum. Um, you know what? I, like a bonehead, did not remember the name of the rum.
eh,
But this is
there's
this
some.
is a higher proof rum than I normally get.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a Jamaican rum. I'm having that, and
Mm,
I've been munching on a grapefruit champagne sorbet I made.
grapefruit champagnes. Okay, that sounds like it could be good.
Um, it's good in ways that I thought I hadn't thought. Excuse me, I hadn't thought of. It's very good.
Good.
Yeah. I got an ice cream maker last year for Christmas, and this is one of the awesome things that you can make with an ice cream maker.
Excellent. Well, I just ordered some lemonade. Actually,
Oh,
lemonade flavored water. But you must have contacted the bartender because he brought me not only lemonade, but he brought me a couple shots of tequila.
that's right.
So I have that here.
But wait a second. What about that clean living?
Well, I'm clean living in that there's no sugar in this tequila.
Oh, okay.
So
You can still pee purple.
yeah, I actually to test it out. Listen to me. Listen, listen, listen to me. I tested it out. I tested it out last night.
Maybe we should make sure people understand the reference.
Yeah, I'm doing. It's not really. I'm not
So,
really doing a full keto
so
diet,
pee
but
purple
I'm
refers to.
the ketone strips that I pee on to test my ketone levels. So yeah, I tested this out last night. I had a couple shots last night, and
Okay.
this this morning I'm still peeing purple.
Yeah. All right.
So
So
I'm
he's. I
good
mean, so
that way.
so you can drink tequila and still remain in ketosis, right?
Yeah, it's when you mix the other stuff with it is where the bad stuff comes in. But actually, alcohol, just straight alcohol in general, is pretty pure. If I look at my nutrition sheet that I have here, for example, under alcohol, vodka. One shot has 69 calories, zero carbs. My tequila has 99 calories, zero carbs. So most pure alcohols kind of
Yeah,
follow
but
that.
pure alcohol is almost as good as drinking rubbing alcohol.
Eh, true, but there's things, but there's uh, but there's things that you can you know, if you wanted to mix it with, you could. Just be mindful of the carbs. That's all I'm doing. So
So have you noticed any change other than sorry, how many weeks have you peed purple?
oh,
Is it like week two
I'm
or
coming
three?
up on about 3. Yeah, I'm coming up on 3.
Okay, so like every day you pee purple, all of them,
Yeah. hmm
and same dark purple. You haven't like gone light on us, have you?
No. Nope. They've once I've gotten to that. It took a little while to get to the dark,
Hmm.
but it's been that way for a while now.
Yeah. Now, people might be listening and they're like, "Why are these two so comfortable talking about bodily functions?"
Right.
And at least for me, I've got a little background where it's somewhat understandable. I can't speak for Brian. Um,
Yes. Yes.
one thing I noticed as a Peace Corps volunteer is that amongst other volunteers, there's a abnormally high amount of talk of poo talk, poo and
Uh,
bodily function talk, because that's something that while we were there, it was a constant struggle. Is am I going to have explosive diarrhea or something like that? So,
wow. I didn't think about that, man.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you should not drink the water that you brush your teeth with. Uh,
Wow. That's kind of scary, man.
yeah, yeah, well,
So yeah, we're not gonna. I don't know. I feel like I may have in the past talked too long about personal stuff like this, so I'm not going to dwell on it. But I'm still doing the clean living. As of today, I'm averaging about 600 calories a day. I'm averaging 5 carbs a day and 37 grams of fat per day. So that's what my spreadsheet tells me.
now, in the past, you may have talked about it, but it wasn't because you were like just determined to drone on about it. I may have asked you about like what are you eating and stuff like that, because
Okay.
the idea of eating 500 calories just seems ridiculous.
Right. Right.
So
Um, and then for anyone that missed it, that would be I am in a wheelchair, so I don't. Well, it's a manual. It's a manual wheelchair. I don't have like a battery and just kind of scoot around. You know, motorized. I do move myself around, but I don't exert as much energy as other people might. So
no,
I'm I'm able to get by. I'm able to get by on 600 calories a day. It's not. I don't feel any negative side effects to doing that.
I mean, are you able to think it straight and clearly?
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. Although
Yeah,
I guess I would be the last to know.
yeah, you would. Yeah, everything's taking so much longer. I wonder why.
Uh,
That's 600 calories at play.
yeah. So that's funny. I don't know. Maybe people tune in to hear just to hear about us and
Of course they do. Why else would they?
what we think about such things. So
Yeah, yeah. It's like
so
it's like being on the. It's like if Bob and Tom on the Bob and Tom show never talked about themselves.
right.
Now I just do all that.
Um. Uh. Well, I can talk about my car for 20-25 minutes if you want.
Really? You mean which one? The one that's totaled, or the one that's not?
whichever you want, whichever you want to hear about.
Let's hear about the. Yeah, yeah. That's not.
That's not. Um. So the one downside to us recording Saturday is that I was hoping to, we Thursday we would have been coming fresh off of the inauguration, and so um I don't know how much has changed since uh, Wednesday, but I do have several clips for this episode, and I want to just I'm not a poacher. I guess I am poaching, but I'm admitting to it.
I'm
I get
guilty of
I've
what
got
I'm about to do.
I got most, not all, but most of these clips off of from the No Agenda show.
Huh.
And to be fair, they don't make all. They get clips. People send them the clips as well. So I'm not. That ice is pretty loud, dude.
Sorry, my bad. It's going away.
All right. But yeah, we got a lot of clips for the show that I think are kind of interesting. And yeah, since we're and actually, let's get started. I got a couple of Trump's farewell speech. I don't even know if I've listened to these in entirety, so I think I've heard this first one. So let's hear what Trump had to say on his way out.
This week, we inaugurate a new administration and pray for its success in keeping America safe and prosperous. We extend our best wishes, and we also want them to have luck, a very important word.
Okay, so that's nice of him, I guess.
Well, yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
I,
that's a refreshing change.
I think I don't know. People may have had issues with him, wishing luck, I guess, but I don't know. I didn't. That's just Trump talk.
Yeah, I've not heard anyone have a problem with that.
Good, good. Um, so we'll come up and we'll follow that up with what we got here.
The key to national greatness lies in sustaining and instilling our shared national identity. That means focusing on what we have in common, the heritage that we all share. At the center of this heritage is also a robust belief in free expression, free speech, and open debate. Only if we forget who we are and how we got here could we ever allow political censorship and blacklisting to take place in America. It's not even thinkable. Shutting down free and open debate violates our core values and most enduring traditions. In America, we don't insist on absolute conformity or enforce rigid orthodoxies and punitive speech code. We just don't do that. America is not a timid nation of tame souls who need to be sheltered and protected from those with whom we disagree. That's not who we are. It will never be who we are.
All right. So that's obviously talking, I think, about this. I want to, before we move forward here, I want to kind of like pre-qualify something that I'm probably just going to say casually. Not just this show, but every show. When I say the left, I realize that's painting with a broad brush. And so when I say the left, I'm talking specifically about um, the people in Washington and probably the people in Hollywood, the left. Um,
Mm,
if I say something, no, I don't. You can't say. I mean, this is my definition. So
yeah.
if I say something about the left and it doesn't apply to you, then I'm not talking about you.
So,
Just
okay, quick question, because I mean, using that definition, the left is less than 1% of the population.
yeah, but they got a really loud voice and
Yeah, yeah, I'll give you that.
an even bigger stick.
So, but so is what part is the left? Is a pot smoking hippie who was a Vietnam veteran? Is that person part of the left?
They may be left leaning, but no, they're not who I'm talking about.
Uh, okay, cool.
I'm not talking about you.
All right.
Um,
I mean, yeah. I mean, that. I mean, all right, cool. That's a
gen-
very small group of folks.
it is
And
it is small.
but you said in Washington and Hollywood, so I mean they control the money and the guns, and the other folks control the images. You see, so I'll give you that they
So
are that group
I
that the left as defined by BC is very
yeah
influential.
yeah. So and I think what I think there and so this left has this and I don't know whether it's just talk. It's dangerous to just ignore things and say, well, they're just blowing hot air because you never know, I guess. But there is a push to silence opposition, and or at least there's a threat of it, and so I think that's what Trump was talking about there.
Mm. Now, part of me says there are two types of opposition.
Okay.
There's the opposition that needs to be silenced and stamped out, and then there's like a loyal opposition. And it's funny you should say that you're talking about this because a couple of weeks ago I saw an article by I think Emily Bazelon, one of those I think she's like a New York Times or New York Post writer, and she talks about how the First Amendment may have a challenge due to all this misinformation that's going out.
The one of the precise reasons that the First Amendment exists is to protect unpopular speech.
Well, I mean, there is a such thing as unpopular speech, but then there's also speech that is deliberately not true and false. So propaganda, like out and out propaganda. Yeah. So
Well, I don't have I can't source this on the spot for people concerned about that, but I did read an article or hear about, I don't know when it was, I think it was back during Obama's administration, but Congress passed some sort of a law or something that made it legal for the government to lie to the people, to do propaganda on the people.
all right.
So that's interesting, and and I think what's dangerous about this also is, so who gets to say what is true and what's not?
It's it's funny you should say. I mean, it's funny you should ask that question because I kid you not. When and who gets to say what's true and what's not?
I mean, it's kind of like the pornography argument. Who gets to decide what's pornography and what's not?
Yeah, the convening authority.
Yeah. If I know this isn't an argument, this is not good for arguments, but I would say that if the right ran things today, owned the media, and owned the White House and all the Congress, and they wanted to be the arbiters of what's true and false, you know, the left would be screaming about that, just like the right is screaming about that today.
So, quick question.
Mm.
So you identified the left. That's Hollywood and Washington. Who's the right?
Oh, let's see. I would say when I'm saying the right, I would say also um, the right in Congress, and I don't know. There's not really. I don't know if there's an equivalent to the right in Hollywood. Maybe the gun lobby. Maybe that would be Hollywood's right conservative equivalent. Maybe I don't know.
Hmm.
Although the gun lobby doesn't have the influence that Hollywood has, but
Wait. Can Hollywood stop legislation?
I'm sure they can.
Sorry. Better question. And you're right. I'm sure they can. Does Hollywood have a proven track record of stopping legislation?
I don't know.
Okay.
But let me clarify. When I say influence, I'm talking about influencing the hearts and minds of the people. That's us.
Mhm.
Movies, television shows, music, all that influences the population, us.
Okay.
So, but as I'm talking about the right and the left, that begs me to play this clip that you brought to my attention just before the show. This is Glenn Greenwald.
What Joe brought value to the show? What the hell?
No.
Why are you telling these vicious lies?
Now.
Vicious.
One of the things I'm really hoping for is that we can finally get out of enough people believing that the way to understand Washington is Democrat versus Republican, and that you side with one team and believe they're on your side and defending your interest and the other team is your enemy. It is not true. There is a ruling class elite that is extremely comfortable with the establishment wings of both parties. They love Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer every bit as much as they love Mitch McConnell and Mitt Romney and Marco Rubio and Paul Ryan. Those are the people who they fund equally because those are the people who serve their agenda. Then there's a whole other huge group of people at whose expense they rule. And some of them consider themselves on the left and some consider themselves on the right. And it's time to break down those barriers, to break down this artificial, false, fraudulent prism that the way to understand Washington is thinking that one of the two parties is on your side. Neither of them is.
That was Glenn Greenwald, and that I've tried to make that point a few times, but he stated it much more eloquently than I have. So I'd like to. I believe in that more than left, right, Republican, and Democrat. But I guess we're all victims of falling into this two teams argument.
And to me, that's the prism I started looking at things through. Not necessarily left or right, but
I try to as well. It's hard. It is hard, especially when you've
old habits die hard.
Exactly.
But it's funny because we're talking. I mean, let's see here. This is topic number 1. This isn't the topic number 1.
Oh, on the agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already blown through that.
Missed that one.
We'll get back to that. And we'll get back to that with this is okay. Well, let me play this clip. This is since I played Trump's going out. This is Biden's first 3 executive orders.
Well, this is going to be the first of many engagements we're going to have in here. And I thought with the state of the nation today is no time to waste, get to work immediately. As we've indicated earlier, we're going to be signing a number of executive orders over the next several days of the week. And I'm going to start today. The compounding crisis of COVID-19, along with the
going to stop this real quick. When is the last time you heard? Think about when is the last time you heard a camera make noise when it takes a picture?
It's funny. Like I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm into photography, and
Okay.
about 2-3 years ago, they came out with cameras that don't make the noise.
I'm surprised that there are cameras today that do make that noise.
Yeah, they must be working for not the
They got cameras from like the 1980s
yeah
still.
yeah.
All right. Anyway, that bothers me because it distracts from, especially Joe. I'm sorry. I'm not going to make, like I said, I'm not making fun of Joe, but it sounds like he's struggling to deliver this, and so listening to, and I'm just, I remember 4 years ago, Joe, and this isn't him for whatever reason. I don't no commentary, but uh, these cameras clicking is making it's distracting to me. But we shall persevere.
Economic crisis following that, and climate crisis, and racial equity issues, and some of the executive actions I'm going to be signing today are going to help change the course of the COVID crisis, and we're going to combat climate change in a way that we haven't done so far, and advance racial equity and support other underserved communities. We're going to rebuild our economy as well. And these are just all starting points. We're going to, in the process of rebuilding the economy, do what I said throughout the campaign and while running, rebuild the backbone of the country, the middle class. And so there's going to be a lot of focus on that. And I think some of the things we're going to be doing are going to be bold and vital. And there's no time to start like today. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm proud with today's executive actions. I'm going to start by keeping the promises I made to the American people. A long way to go. These are just executive actions. They are important, but we're going to need legislation for a lot of the things we're going to do. And the first order I'm going to be signing here relates to COVID, and it's requiring, as I said all along, where I have authority, mandating masks be worn, social distancing be kept on federal property, on interstate commerce, etc. So this is the first one I'm signing. And the second one
So what do you think that means, interstate commerce? I can get government property. What does he mean when he says interstate commerce?
Any commerce or any commerce that transacts across state lines. So everything from yeah. So so if you bought toilet paper and that toilet paper came from Ohio, that's engaging in commerce that crosses state lines.
Okay. And so that's how they're okay. Okay.
signing here is the support for underserved communities, and we're going to make sure we have some bedrock equity, equality as relates to how we treat people and healthcare and other things. And we'll give you copies of these executive orders. And the third one I'm going to sign, and that's what I'm going to do while you're all here, is the commitment I made that we're going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord as of today.
Again, how many pictures do you need of one person just sitting there reading a statement?
But that's pretty standard.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, if your job is to take pictures and send them to your editor, for your newspaper, and the guy's talking for 20 minutes, you're going to want to make sure you got some great shots. So you're going to just sit there and click. That's what I would do.
Well, I can't imagine Joe was doing a lot of animation. It was very animated during this, but
Yeah, all more reasons you need to take more pictures.
oh, just let me complain, Joe. That's all I want to do.
But wait a second, why are you complaining? I mean,
Because those cameras annoyed me.
Think about it this way: like back in the olden days, when a camera bulb went off, it sounded like a bomb went off. Like you ever see like the old movies where the 1930s guy, 1930s photographer takes the picture.
I get it, but I'm just talking about this one specific clip. It just the cameras seemed overly like they were like sitting right in front of the microphone,
They
and
could they very well could have been.
yeah, so it just annoyed me. I don't know why. It doesn't always bother me, but this clip annoyed me. But anyway, those are his first three executive orders. Do you have any strong feelings about any of that? I'm not sure, what he meant about what he said when he said racial equality or equity
Well, yeah, I mean
with
that's something that dawned on me. Like in listening to him talk, like like I'm not. There are areas of Joe Biden's history that I think he's very bad. Certain parts of Joe Biden are more than problematic, out and out
right,
bad. You know.
yeah,
And so to hear him talking in those terms, it's like, okay, he's talking about racial equity. Like, when's the last time you heard something like that come off a president's lips? That come off a politician's lips who wasn't running for office. He just won. So, um, to me, that the fact that it's those words are coming out of his mouth, that acknowledging that there are racial and economic imbalances and injustice. That's a relatively new phenomenon becoming from a president. I mean, now, well, they've been pretty good at making reference to it, but the idea of actually doing anything has always been lacking. So, I mean, he's saying a portion of the right things, and based on some of the things I've heard that he's tried to do, he seems to be acting in a way that's consistent with those things as well.
so that's what I wanted to hear. What is he going to do to help things?
Well, I mean, I haven't heard anything about the whole, racial injustice and economic injustice. I haven't heard anything about what he's planning on doing there. But what I have heard him talk about is trying to use some executive authority to streamline getting checks out to folks in terms of stimulus money.
Mm,
I read something about that this morning.
okay.
And so, I mean, this first 100 days is going to be. I mean, I'll be listening to him very closely to see what he's talking about. Because it's one thing to talk when you're running for office, but after you've won, then you got to do stuff.
Right. Okay. Well,
Oh, but like I mean, here's the question: what are your feelings towards Joe Biden? Like, do you hope he succeeds? Do you hope he fails? Do you hope he falls off the stage and Kamala becomes president? What are your thoughts?
my real thoughts is that someone else's. He's just reading the things that someone else is doing. I don't think he's in control at all.
But I mean,
But that said, I don't know, man.
now, mind you, that's the exact same thing they said about Obama, right? And the same thing they said about Bush, and the same thing they said about pretty much every president.
Okay.
They said for Obama he was always taking direction from a teleprompter. Bush too, they just thought he was bumbling and dumb, and of course Dick Cheney was running everything. Let's see here.
Don't forget Karl Rove.
Oh yeah, in Karl Rove, yeah. So I mean, so like the idea that he's just an old man and he's just like the guy that's unlucky enough who is on the string. That's common.
Well, I'm comfortable saying that probably every president that we've known of is having someone else pull the strings.
So
They're,
quick question.
I'm comfortable, except Trump. I don't think Trump.
That was going to be the question.
But we see how we see how Washington treated him.
Oh, so you honestly believe that Trump had nobody pulling his strings?
Making the decisions. I don't.
I think
Not like these presidents. Not like the other presidents.
yeah. I think I think anyone who calls 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue home has somebody's hand up their butt, probably elbow deep.
I'm not going to argue about that. That's fair enough.
including Trump.
I won't argue. That's fair enough. So
No, but one thing I will say is that after watching Joe Biden, I think I watched him sign 17 executive orders,
okay.
and I thought to myself, yeah, it'll be different. It'll be less entertaining. No, it'll be entertaining in different ways to watch Joe Biden versus watch Trump. So I think they'll both be funny, but funny in different ways. It'll be like Trump was funny because you're like, I can't believe he said that. Whereas
Okay.
I think Biden's going to be funny and like, well, hell, for him it's funny, because it's like I can't believe he said that as well, you know. And Biden does come across as kind of like Mr. Magoo, kind of
Well, yeah.
shuffling here, shuffling there, but I mean,
But I made the commitment not to comment on that kind of stuff.
you did?
I did, remember?
Yes, you did.
So, I don't know. I mean, so like the Paris Accords, as I understand it, it's just an anti-U.S. or at least it's mostly anti-U.S. It wants us to hamstring ourselves while countries like India and China don't have to show any results for, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years, something like that. I don't know.
Well,
The whole climate thing is something that we're going to have to talk about eventually.
well,
Not today, but
yeah, not today, but it says hamstring us, but it's funny. Dave Chappelle made a joke about this. Do you know what a lump of coal looks like?
sure.
You do?
I guess.
Like, have you ever held a lump of coal? Like, if you saw coal on the street, would you be able to say that is coal?
If it's just a big black blob of something, yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to tell coal from charcoal.
Okay.
Like, maybe the charcoal. I mean, charcoal would be in the briquettes, and the coal wouldn't. But my understanding, yeah, a good portion of our energy comes from coal, and when you burn coal, good things don't come from it. Just like general blanket rule, and
Okay.
they can do a lot of things to it to make it less bad, but there's no such thing as clean coal, so to speak.
Okay.
There's less dirty coal, but not clean coal. And so my understanding of the Paris Accords, would be to basically jumpstart getting off of coal and letting the third world countries pretty much continue to strangle and choke their populations using coal. So, but I mean, I am interested in us doing a deep dive into the Paris Accords, because I remember making the point maybe 3-4 years ago about people talking about how they were upset that we had been withdrawn from it, but people couldn't point to or couldn't speak of one specific aspect of the Paris Accords. So,
And it's probably because people, such as myself included, just don't know.
oh yeah,
And haven't taken the time to educate ourselves about it.
well, and you're talking to a guy who went out and downloaded it and read through it. I mean, the great thing about the internet is you can type in whatever you want to find, followed by the letters PDF, and usually a document will pop up.
Was it engaging reading?
Oh, I mean, it was interesting because, like, it talks about it's one of those things where and I heard Barack Obama say this, and it made sense to me on its face at the time, and that was if you try to deal with any large issue in a comprehensive way, you're going to generate a lot of paperwork, and so that's kind of like what it was. It was, it was I mean, I think if you were to print it out, it would have been about the size of a small phone book. But
And you read it from front to back?
no, I didn't read it from the back. I scanned the table of contents and certain things that I found that were interesting. I went and read those more deeply. But a good portion of it is, setting out definitions and, when we say this, it means that. So there, those types of documents probably aren't useful to read cover to cover because usually there's a specific aspect of it that you're interested in. But
Gotcha.
I'm interested to go through it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we could do that, but I just wanted to talk about the whole thing of climate change. Period.
All right. Well, okay. And so,
But we can incorporate that. We can make it all one show with the Paris.
and that makes sense because that's like one of the biggest efforts to affect climate change. And so, what your opinion of the Paris Accords is going to be heavily influenced on whether or not you think climate change is a thing or not.
Right.
So,
Okay. So inauguration day came and went. Like I said, I haven't been following. I haven't been following the news. I do scan headlines and whatnot, but I don't watch any. I haven't been watching any. I don't watch Fox or CNN or anything like that. But I did get up and I was curious because there was all kinds of riots and protests and things that were predicted to happen on inauguration day, and so I did do a
wait a minute.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Why were they predicted to happen?
Well, I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess
you really
I
don't
guess
know?
I guess it's because of what happened at the Capitol.
Okay. Was there another reason why one might think there might be an issue?
Because I know where your head's at. I'm going to just say Trump told people to.
No, I wasn't. My head wasn't there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't. I'm not getting your. You got to tell me. You have to draw me a picture. What is it?
But, you remember that did I send you the flyer that was posted around, like a red flyer talking about an armed protest at the Capitol building, an armed protest at all 50 state capitals? You didn't see that flyer?
It doesn't sound familiar.
Let me send it to you.
You can do it after the show. I'm not going to get on my phone tonight. I
Oh,
mean,
sure.
my phone's in the other room on the charger.
Oh no, yeah, I just thought I this is one of those things that I just assumed that I had sent to you, like
Okay.
this type of stuff. Like, I assume that if I see something like that, I send it to you. But there was
You got to keep in mind my phone is a piece of excrement, and so
you're right.
I don't get everything that gets sent to me.
You're on that third rate network where you get like the leftovers from T-Mobile.
Yeah, but I only pay $20. I only pay $20 a month, also. So.
I'm sorry to describe your phone network that way, but
I've survived. I survived not getting everything from people, but that's beside the point.
Well, I mean, this was important. Let me just paint the picture, and that way, the audience has an idea.
Okay.
Red banner and blue and gold text. When democracy is destroyed, large gold text, refuse to be silenced. More gold text, armed march on Capitol Hill and all 50 states, January 17th, 2021, 12 p.m. Washington Memorial to the White House and all 50 state capitals. Over 200 years ago, our forefathers fought for the rights and liberties of this nation. Don't let their efforts go in vain. Demand freedom and the corruption. Stand up for liberty. So that's why people thought there'd be, more.
Can you source that? Where'd that come from? Who sent
Um,
that? Who wrote it and sent it out? Can you tell me?
I can tell you where I found it.
No, I want to know who sent it out. I want to know the author of it and who sent it out.
I don't know that.
Really?
No, I don't.
Because I could write a document that hits every hot point for any group really. I'm just curious if we know who wrote that and who circulated it or who put it out for publication.
So when I find out who did,
Good luck.
so you're that confident that it can't be found?
I don't know, but if you find out, let me know. I'm curious.
It says come armed at your personal discretion.
Okay. So that means that it had to have come from some right-wing gun-toting nut. It had to.
No, but it had to come from someone. It likely came from someone who thought the election was stolen.
Why?
Because it
Because
says,
because they used all the right words.
Destroyed, refused to be silenced. Armed
Some
march, huh?
Is there something that physically prevents somebody who doesn't agree with that from writing such a thing?
Wait a minute. So you're saying that somebody? I'm confused.
Someone who, someone from the left. Is there something that physically stops someone from the left from typing out those exact words? And
So you're saying that it could have been someone from Hollywood or Washington that did this?
or sympathetic to? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Say, quick question. Okay, I know this is something you don't want to talk about, but I'm still hopped up about this whole Capitol Hill riot.
I know you are, but
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it.
Oh, I mean, I'm still thinking about it. Like, I mean, I
Well,
think.
here I have something here that I think you'll find interesting then maybe, because I did a search to find out what happened on Inauguration Day. So so here's what I found. This came up. Violence flares in Washington during inauguration by Jonathan Landay, Scott Malone, Washington Reuters. Black-clad activists among hundreds of demonstrators protesting the swearing in on Friday clashed with police a few blocks from the White House in an outburst of violence which is rare for an inauguration. At least 217 people were arrested in the melee, police said. In the violence, knots of activists in black clothes and masks threw rocks and bottles at officers wearing riot gear, who responded with volleys of tear gas and stun grenades as a helicopter hovered low overhead. At one flashpoint, a protester hurled an object through the passenger window of a police van, which sped away in reverse as demonstrators cheered. Earlier, activists used chunks of pavement and baseball bats to shatter the window of a Bank of America branch and a McDonald's outlet, all symbols of American capitalism. multiple vehicles were set on fire.
Symbols of American capitalism.
Mm-hmm. Multiple vehicles were set on fire, including a black limousine. A knot of people dragged garbage cans into the street a few blocks from the White House and set them ablaze. Police said 6 officers were injured in the scuffle with protesters. The people arrested would be held overnight before making court appearances. The protest played out just blocks from Pennsylvania Avenue. So,
This happened in 2021?
well, oh no, that was 2017. My bad.
I thought to myself, I follow the news pretty closely, and I don't think any of this happened this year.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that happened.
Dude, I understand you must have been in the time vortex. It happens to me all the time.
I just missed the timestamp on this article. My mistake, people.
Oh, I mean, it's funny because we were talking about sourcing earlier today before the show, man.
Mm-hmm.
So and you were like, yeah, well, I can't possibly be, it's just too much. I'm like, yeah, but we want to make sure that we're reporting on a story that happened this year.
Well, I thought Reuters. I seen Reuters and just assumed that it was fine. So my mistake. That was the left protesting Trump. Sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah. Did, can you tell me where they rushed the Capitol? Can you tell me where they rushed the Capitol?
I want to know. So if you're going to,
No, no, no,
if we have to talk about it,
dude. Can you tell me where they rushed the Capitol?
they didn't rush the Capitol,
Okay,
Joe.
okay, just make sure.
Why do you treat this Capitol as though it's a church?
Because
Like, is this a
it's the
religion?
church of
Is there?
democracy. It isn't. I mean, if if you honestly equate the Capitol with McDonald's or Starbucks, you can't. You just can't.
So that's why you're so outraged, is simply because of the location.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Oh, I want to know that.
it's like. I mean, it's like okay, like it's like having a wedding at a friggin' cemetery. You know, those two things don't go. You know.
Do you really think that the foundation of America was threatened by this?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when people are roaming the halls of the Capitol, looking for the vice president, saying "Hang Mike Pence," that could threaten the United States.
Really?
Yeah. And when a mass of people can kick open the front door and end up sitting in Nancy Pelosi's desk, that could threaten America. I don't understand how you're not outraged. Like,
Because when I think of America, I think of us, the people.
yeah,
Apparently, when you think of America, you think
but you
of
also think of the
elect.
people's symbols, and that house is a symbol for the people.
It's just a symbol.
No, no, it's not just a symbol. It's just like saying the cross is just a symbol, or the American flag is just a symbol. It's
They are just symbols,
okay. So, oh wow, I mean that's
dude.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling you right now.
I honestly would have never thought. No, yeah, I honestly would have never thought I'd hear you say that. Yeah, the Capitol building, that's nothing special. That's just any old other building. Nothing special here. Ransack it, destroy it, burn it down to the ground. That small thing.
Okay, let me say something. Don't interrupt me. Just let me say this.
All right.
I do not hold our elected officials in any kind of high regard like you apparently do. Now, don't interrupt me. I consider the people in Congress to be non-essential. There's nothing special about these people. I consider myself to be smarter than probably 99% of them in the things that matter. And so I am confident that Congress could take an entire year off and the country would be just fine, because the country is not these handful of people that we ignorantly elect and send to Washington. The country is us, the people who work and generate the money and make things happen. And so I don't care if now I'm saying this, I don't mean this, but if all of a sudden none of these people were there tomorrow, the country would be fine. And I firmly believe that. And so while I'm glad nobody was, I don't want violence, but I do not hold politicians with any kind of reverence.
Yeah, I don't hold. I mean, I think you got it twisted there, man. I don't think those individuals themselves are special, but I do believe the fact that we have a pretty much a popularity contest every 2 years, and during that popularity contest, we we identify people who will represent us, and insofar as those people are voted on by their fellow citizens, they are special, not because of themselves, but because of the trust that the people from their state or district put in them. And so we disagree strongly on that.
We do.
Yeah, I, mm, yeah. I mean, it's like saying that I mean, so would you say that living in America is no different than, or being able to elect your elected officials is just worthless? You wouldn't mind living in a one state, one party country?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, I
I'm
mean,
just saying
because you just heap nothing but vitriol and scorn upon your elected officials. And once again, I take no issue with you saying they individually aren't special, but because of the collective effort of electing them and having them represent us, that is special. That I can't countenance someone saying that's not special. And that's why I also can't countenance that you're like, oh yeah, it's just a building, just no different from a McDonald's or a Starbucks. It's just like, and that's a big thing. And I alluded to this earlier last week. Is that like Donald Trump gave us a master class in propaganda, and all that stuff about the Russians and using disinformation. Before this whole Capitol riot thing, I thought that it was all a joke. I thought it wasn't something to be taken seriously. But seeing as how you now firmly believe that this whole Capitol Hill raid was no big deal, it makes me believe, holy crap, this stuff is real, and it's dangerous. And so that's the part that's the part that's really really scary to me. Even if the Capitol raid never happened, the fact that there is so clearly a breakdown between what we all think can agree on as fact, and you even made reference to it earlier today. Who's to say what a fact is? It's like yeah, and I know you stopped thinking about this a long time ago because you don't think it's important, but the fact that people can't agree on what constitutes a simple fact or what either happened or did not happen is wildly jarring.
Well, I have a clip for you then.
Uh-oh.
Hillary Clinton, she has her own podcast. Go figure.
Wait. How old is how old is this clip?
It's pretty current. It's talking about what we're talking about.
Because the last time I heard, Hillary Clinton's a failed politician who's been retired to the dustbin of history 4 years ago. What she says doesn't matter, and likely won't matter ever again. So I'm curious as to why.
Well, she's talking to Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, let's hear it.
And here we go.
We learned a lot about our system of government over the last 4 years with a president who disdains democracy and, as you have said numerous times, has other agendas. What they all are, I don't think we yet know. I hope historically we will find out who he's beholden to, who pulls his strings. I would love to see his phone records to see whether he was talking to Putin the day that the insurgents invaded our capital. But we now know that not just him, but his enablers, his accomplices, his cult members have the same disregard for democracy. Do you think we need a 9/11 type commission to investigate and report everything that they can pull together and explain what happened?
I do. Let me, again, to your point of who was he beholden to, as I've said over and over, as I said to him in that picture with my blue suit,
right,
as I was leaving, what I was saying to him as I was pointing rudely at him, with you, Mr. President, all roads lead to Putin. I don't know what Putin has on him politically, financially, or personally. But what happened last week was a gift to Putin because Putin wants to undermine democracy in our country and throughout the world. And these people, unbeknownst to them maybe, are Putin puppets. They were doing Putin's business when they did that at the incitement of an insurrection by the President of the United States. So yes, we should have a 9/11 commission, and there is strong support in the Congress to do that.
There you go. I could have been talking to her.
Well, you know what? It's crazy you should say that because one of the things I think I told you about this the day after the event occurred, and I thought that it was something about how during the Biden administration, some smart intelligence officer is going to make the connection between the Capitol Hill riot and the Russians.
That is so funny to me, man.
No. I'm serious as a heart attack.
And that's why it's funny to me.
No. Like listen to me out.
I'm serious too.
Hear me out. Like during the Trump administration, there was 2 years on the whole Russia collusion thing
that never existed.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there was a report, but 2 years of people, almost 3 years of people saying Russia, Russia, Russia. Do you think that that this thing's going to happen where they riot in the Capitol and no one's going to think to pull out that playbook again? I mean, I would not be surprised if we're not talking about this raid on Capitol Hill as an act of war in about a year's time.
Again, okay, I don't know what to say to this, Joe. We're really just kind of going around in circles now.
No, we're not going around in circles because we made a connection to a story that was dominant 2 years ago. The whole Russian collusion thing, and this whole this Capitol raid thing. If you think that's a circle, that's something that we've talked about before, maybe I wasn't paying attention. But okay,
there was never. First of all, I can't take things serious when people start talking about Russia because there was never any proof. There was never any proof.
Oh no, and you know what? I will agree with you. If there was some type of collusion between a person running for office for the president of the United States and a foreign power, there'd be some transcript, some meeting that took place someplace that we could point to. And insofar as that meeting or transcript hasn't been produced, there's no reason to believe that it happened. But I'm saying that there are people who fervently believe that there was collusion, and I think, like I said, someone's going to find, one of the accounts that people were using to organize may have been set up by a guy who had Russian ties.
Well,
and that's going to be that's going to elevate this whole question of the Capitol raid from domestic terrorism to like I said, a possible act of war.
Well, there's plenty of evidence that Joe Biden is in the pocket of China. But,
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. And I think that's going to be one of the things that happens. This whole Beau Biden thing is going to come back. It's not going to, the FBI is investigating it. So, and if there's shady dealings, which it seems as if there are, there's a pretty strong, it seems as if there is the shady dealings with Biden, Hunter Biden and China. And I think those will come out. And yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, a question that begs to be asked, though, is if the news doesn't report on it, did it happen?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if the news doesn't report on it, the FBI is doing an investigation on it, and so and the news will report on an FBI investigation, right? Now, you could be of the opinion
will they?
I mean, if the president's son is has to go to reports to an FBI headquarters for questioning, you don't think that's going to make the news?
I don't know, because there's a lot of things that I thought were newsworthy last year that never got reported on. So I don't know.
But I don't think this is going to be one of them. I don't think that if a sitting American president's son gets called into the FBI for questioning, I think that's going to be something that makes the news.
I wonder how many people know about Hunter Biden's laptop.
I think enough such that it won't disappear. And haven't you heard that the FBI is investigating that as well?
Yes, I heard.
So I mean,
that doesn't sway public opinion.
No, I mean, to me, I'd rather have I think the FBI investigating anything can do more to sway a public opinion than almost anything else, because what comes out of FBI investigations can be charges. So if Joe Biden's son gets charged with anything, Joe Biden has to step down.
I don't know about that.
Okay. I mean, if it were to come to light that Joe Biden's son have financial dealings with China, and that he used Joe Biden's position as vice president to for business deals, you think that's something that will just go away?
I have no faith in.
But I mean, but wait a minute, like, okay, quick question: do you think the 9/11 was an inside job?
No.
Okay, good. You know why was it an inside job?
What?
Why do you think it wasn't an inside job?
Just too many moving parts.
Exactly. For something like that to be an inside job and have that many moving parts and us not heard of any of those moving parts 20 years later, that's not going to happen. Just like if they do an investigation and Hunter Biden's going to jail or getting investigated, there are too many moving parts on that story for it to not come out someplace.
I know what you're saying, and I agree. But I also believe that there's a lot of people out there who don't get their news from traditional places. And I can guarantee you that a Jimmy Kimmel or a Stephen Colbert or any of these people who have somehow ended up being taken as legitimate news sources, they're not going to talk about it. They just won't. And
but they won't. But
and that's a lot. And that's a lot of people.
Yeah, but okay,
That's my brother.
Yeah, they won't, but Rush will. They won't, but Mark Levin will. They won't, but So this whole thing about this fragile flower of truth dying in the darkness. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, there's always been, but there's Rush and
people who hate Joe Biden and don't like his policies, where any amount of dirt that they can find and pin on him to slow him down will be used. So I don't think that they're going to run roughshod over anyone.
Rush and Levin and all those have been around forever, and it's 50% of the country will know this and be outraged, and 50% of the country won't have a clue.
All right, well, I mean, it seems as if the 50% of the country that gets outraged, those are the 50% of the people you need to worry about, because they'll show up at the Capitol and take the place over.
Sure.
Maybe
the Capitol needs to be taken over, Joe.
Huh?
Maybe the Capitol needs to be taken over.
Yep. You sound like You sound like a foreign operative.
Well, you know what?
Are you just the guy to do it?
No.
Okay.
But you know what? We need. I think we need to. Something needs to happen about people with this wrong think.
Well, I was thinking that we should set up camps.
Really? Well, that's interesting. Let's listen to what.
In fact, like
I'm trying to go to a cut for you, man.
Sorry, what that?
I'm trying to go to a cut for you, a clip.
Oh, sure. Okay, cool.
This is Alan Dershowitz.
Students at Harvard now want to set up kind of re-education camps and moral rehabilitation centers and institutions for vetting people who had the chutzpah to work in the Trump administration.
And one more for you. This is a super clip, so I don't know how long it's going to be, but interesting.
And the question is, how are we going to really almost deprogram these people who have signed up for the cult of Trump?
Experts say they see cult-like behavior.
We have, there are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republicans, who somehow need to be deprogrammed. It's as if they are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed
because they've been brainwashed. Joy, I really believe that they have been brainwashed by this misinformation campaign.
So how do you de-radicalize these people? Joining us now is Stephen Hassan. He's a mental health professional who has been helping deprogram people out of cults for decades. He's also the author of The Cult of Trump. There are millions of people who believe that the election was rigged. How do you begin to deprogram them?
once we educate them, we coach them on how to interact and empower the person to start thinking for themselves.
I think a lot of people are going to have to be deprogrammed.
I want to stop it right here because as I was listening to this and then what he just said, really, I'm offended that people think that my thoughts are only because Trump told me to think this or something.
There's a grain of truth to that.
There's not for me.
Okay. Oh, not for you, but for millions of others out there, there's a grain of truth to that.
So, you're saying that your fellow Americans are stupid and have to be told what to think?
A significant portion, yes.
Okay, here we go.
We had a program addressing white supremacists. That we had programs, federal programs, that went towards funding organizations like these that de-radicalized people. And President Trump pulled the plug on federal funding for some of these programs. And so one thing that we know is that we have to get that funding right back up, and we probably need to double, triple, quadruple.
I'd like to know specifically what these programs were. I've not heard of them.
I would assume they probably take a page or two from how they have those camps where you can make gay people straight.
I'm always thinking of, when I think of re-education, I'm thinking of like China.
Oh no, okay, we're thinking of different camps. But
sorry.
Yeah, I think there might be a case for re-education, man.
Funding for these de-radicalization programs.
We can look to history, though. What ultimately breaks that power structure in the South is enforcement, right? There has to be consequences.
David Atkins is a DNC member, as you said. He's also the leader of the California Democrats. And
David Atkins, he also made a great diet, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. But I thought he was dead.
Okay. I must be talking about a different one.
Yeah.
He is suggesting that over half our country needs to be reprogrammed. Not just 75 million people that voted for Trump, but the conservatives in this country.
A Bernie Sanders staffer was caught on undercover camera saying that Trump voters should be sent to re-education camps.
Best be guarded against by creating and establishing re-education centers in the Southwest, where we would take all the people who needed to be re-educated into the new way of thinking and teach them how things were going to be. I ask, well, what is going to happen to those people that we can't re-educate, that are diehard capitalists? And the reply was that they'd have to be eliminated. And when I pursued this further, they estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill. 25 million people.
So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
I have decided we really need camps for adults.
There you go. I'm looking forward to my Biden overlord.
Well, truth be told, I noticed that you weren't on the chat device this week.
That's because I was focused. I was like 100% on work this week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why our show got postponed to Saturday.
Yeah. And but part of me was like, oh crap, maybe they got me. He got swept up. I mean, the very first. They always say the first cut has to be the deepest and the fastest. So, well, maybe it's just going to be the Joe show now because Brian. I mean, good guy, but I guess he did need to be re-educated. He was firmly of the opinion, which was incorrect, that Trump won the election, but just couldn't find 11,000 votes in Georgia and several other places.
Well, I'm going to say this. And I'm saying it partial.
This is the crazy piece, though. He did not win. I mean,
Okay.
I thought he was going to win, but when the numbers came out, the ones that we all agreed to in the very beginning of this whole election piece, the numbers said he didn't win, but he still went around telling people that he won, and now thousands
Well,
of people
but
believe.
he told me something I already knew though. So go ahead.
Yeah, but there comes a point where you got to take your L, man. And
It's
that's
it's a done deal,
the
man.
crazy part is that the folks who showed up at the Capitol, to me, well, not all of them, but the ones that went inside, to me, they showed that if our guy doesn't win, we'll take it all down. And this is the other thing. Trump said, if I win, the election wasn't rigged. If I lose, the election was rigged. That's ridiculous.
Send me the clip or the quote where he specifically said that. I want to hear that.
I can do that.
Please do. I'll say this because and I know that this will make you cringe also, but just keep in mind that all these people that they think they're going to re-educate, they're the ones that have the guns.
Oh yeah, but re-education, that's all right. They have the guns. But do you think the guy, do you think they can withstand the military?
Well, I don't think the military is going to be the ones charged with doing this. You're not allowed to deploy the military on United States soil against its citizens. What
That's
they're
a
going to
law.
do is
That's a
they're
law
going
that
to
can be changed by 60 people in the Senate and 50% plus one in the House.
Well, let's just get rid. Well, for someone who
I
holds
think
the Capitol in such reverence, I would think that idea right there would disgust you.
What?
Changing the law so that the military can be used against their own people.
No, I mean we already do that. The police is military light.
But they're still not the military.
And if they went through the regular process, electing representatives, and that bill came and passed before the House and Senate and was signed by the president, yeah, that's the way it happens.
Jesus Christ, man! I'm sorry about cussing, but I don't know what else to
Invoking
say.
Jesus Christ's name is not a curse. He'll set you free. I heard.
Well, I guess assuming that we don't become a military state, what I'm saying is the people that are going to be tasked with rounding up people are going to be the local officials, and enough local officials start getting picked off because of this. And stop it real quick.
Yeah, but when and we've talked about this before too. When local officials start getting picked off, that's when the feds respond. Oh, I also sent you the link where this election is rigged if I lose, and it wasn't rigged if I win. You can look at it at your pleasure, or we can look at it right now to make sure I'm not hoodwinking you.
I don't have an easy way of doing that right now.
Fair enough.
But I will check it out. And I'll admit, it sounds like something that Trump would say. But,
that's funny to me. So wait, huh?
I said,
Yeah, well, okay. So you don't think setting up a dynamic where if I lose, it was rigged, but if I don't lose, if I win, it wasn't. You don't think that's setting up a preordained outcome where you're going to get a bunch of people pissed off?
I don't know, Joe, but I give up. I am sick and tired of fucking talking about the election.
We're not
it's
talking
over.
about the election. We're talking about after the election. I mean, the election occurred. We have a result. What we're talking about now is whether or not somebody refuses to accept the election.
He's out of office. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. On one level, you're right. He is out of office. The system, But okay, this is the other thing. And once again, thank you for humoring me. Did you hear about all the letters and the reports that came out from the joint chief of staff and the former secretaries of defense?
No.
Okay. Have you heard that as many as 50 congressmen are being investigated for being collaborators in the event?
I had not heard that.
Yeah, in terms of offering tours to some of the people who got in and all that stuff.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, if another question. No, I'm not going to ask you that question. This is really bad, man. Well, so you yeah. All right, I'm done.
Okay.
But I might come back to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's our next topic, man?
Well, let's see. How are we doing on time? We should probably start thinking about the skullduggery. Let me look at my clip list and see if I have anything else for us to listen to. There's nothing specific. I got a few more clips to listen to. There's not a whole lot to really talk about, though, I don't think. But I think they're interesting in and of themselves. This one here, I don't know. This one might spark outrage. I don't know.
Outrage.
Last year it was always from Joe Biden, and I have his tweets. I have his tweets to prove it. If you're going to insist that I source this,
no.
But him complaining that Trump's not doing enough. Trump's not doing enough for coronavirus, for COVID. This is a short clip I got off Twitter.
If we fail to act, there will be a wave of evictions and foreclosures in the coming months as this pandemic rages on, because there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months.
Nothing we can do. Nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic.
Well, and that statement, what was that, like back in July or something like that?
I'm not sure what the date was on it. I got a feeling that it was after election.
Oh, all right. Because like it doesn't seem a logical statement to say we can't do much, when we have a vaccine. A vaccine, by the way, that neither of us are rushing to take. Just thought that I'd throw that in there.
I'm gonna let my fellow citizens be the guinea pigs first, since they don't have time to do proper testing.
Hey.
This here Anderson Cooper. He sometimes when you talk enough, and he does a nightly hour show or whatever, the truth tends to pop out unexpectedly sometimes. Here's Anderson Cooper.
But just 2 weeks ago, he did incite an insurrection on the Capitol.
A what?
Listen close.
But just 2 weeks ago, he did incite an insurrection on the Capitol.
Yeah, I think that's one of those, slip of tongues.
Freudian slip, maybe.
Yeah, that's the phrase I was looking for.
And
what do you really have on the mind?
He's thinking about after the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, and this final one is, I don't know if anyone other than me really care. This is concerning Bitcoin. This is what's Yellen? What's her first name? Yellen. Janet Yellen. Yeah, this is her talking about cryptocurrencies.
One area of growing concern, for example, is the potential for terrorists and criminals to use cryptocurrency to finance their activities. So, Dr. Yellen, can you outline some of these emerging technological concerns and how Treasury should combat new forms of terrorist and criminal financing?
Senator, I think you're absolutely right that the technologies to accomplish this change over time, and we need to make sure that our methods for dealing with these matters, with terrorist financing, change along with changing technology. Cryptocurrencies are a particular concern. I think many are used, at least in a transactions sense, mainly for illicit financing. And I think we really need to examine ways in which we can curtail their use and make sure that anti-money laundering doesn't occur through those channels.
Yeah.
Right, like this is in general when a chairman of the Fed speaks, or a former chairman of the Fed speaks, it seems as if they're almost always unintelligible. Like they will use words that by themselves you know what they mean, but when the way they string them together, you're like, what do they say?
That's a great observation, Joe. That's as you were saying that, I was thinking, yeah, he's nailing it. Yeah. What I took away from it, I guess, from the words that I heard or that registered with me was, we got to shut down this thing that we can't control.
I didn't get that we got to shut it down, but it's that we gotta put eyes on this thing.
Well, the interesting thing, and I'm not prepared to. First of all, the concept of blockchain and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is over my head. I only understand it at a certain level, but
same here.
As far as I understand it, though, there's every transaction, and this is at least Bitcoin. There are so many offshoots of cryptocurrencies out there that make your head spin, but Bitcoin being the big one. There's a ledger out there. Every transaction done with Bitcoin,
general ledger,
is recorded in a ledger that is public. So there is not a problem with seeing the transactions now. If there's maybe there's not a way to map a transaction to an individual. I'm not sure. I just don't know. But it's going to be interesting. There's because this crypto is not going away, and I don't know that it's something because I don't think that they're. I mean, I guess the only thing that they could do to stop it is to shut down all of the sites that do the exchanges. But it's an open thing that it just can't be controlled.
Yeah, I've followed cryptocurrency since around 2011.
Okay.
And
so you followed it for quite a while.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember.
You haven't? Did you get any Bitcoin back then?
Like, I think it was one of those things where like they're like, oh yeah, like you can get Bitcoin by mining it.
Right.
Are people still doing that, mining Bitcoin?
Only people who can afford nowadays.
I mean,
it takes supercomputers to get
people who are doing it. They're not like Joe and Brian sitting at home with their laptop, mining, mining Bitcoin. It's friggin' warehouses in China where they've got mounds upon mounds of servers mining Bitcoin.
Well, that's by design. It's the Bitcoins are generated by computers solving math problems, and so as more and more Bitcoins have been, and we're to the point now where it's not feasible for an average citizen like us to own a computer that's capable of doing that.
To the point now.
So yeah, they're being mined somewhere, but not by me. All right, and so this week in Skullduggery, Joe.
Skullduggery.
I can't help, but I'm always having to. It seems like I'm always taking things to the lower base. What would be the?
Well, I mean, last year you had like some.
Last week I kept talking about people's cocks.
Yeah.
And so I feel compelled this week to I got to talk about vaginas.
Oh, hey, you know what? That's something we can both agree on. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So So this is in Brazil. This headline: a 108-foot long concrete vagina sculpture embedded on a hillside sparks fury in Brazil.
How long?
108 feet, Joe.
Now, I got to see a picture of
Say
this.
it. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. What's funny is that the article that I got this from is the Daily Mail, and so they pixelated the picture of it, but it doesn't it just this being pixelated just looks like Japanese porn, and only people who have seen Japanese porn will get that reference. And
Well,
I
there
hope
it is. There it is. I saw this someplace else. Yeah, I think I saw this on CNN, and I thought this was like photoshopped.
apparently it's not. Apparently it's a work of art. Um, I don't know. I got the article here. I don't know whether it's worth really even reading out, but it's.
Well, yeah, like it's,
You want me to read some of it?
yeah, that might be, yeah, might be. Of course, it'll be interesting.
All right. The sculpture was built on the grounds of a former sugar mill in the Brazilian state of Pernambuco and unveiled on Saturday. The scarlet sculpture, titled Diva, stretches for 33 meters and was built into the hillside with the help of diggers. Visual artist Juliana Notori was behind its creation. I can only assume that it's with it's something for women power. Let's see. The sculpture attracted backlash from critics of the artwork, with one person writing on Facebook, "One of the stupid things I've ever seen. Who do you lefties think you're fooling?" Now this is this other person saying lefties, not Brian saying lefties.
All right.
So I don't know what this person's definition of lefties are. He might be talking about you, Joe. I
Huh.
don't know. But anyway, who do you lefties think you're fooling? Apart from useful idiots on the left, of course, another person said. One Facebook user questioned how appropriate the artwork was for children. With all due respect, I didn't like it. Imagine me hanging out with my little daughters in this park, and they ask, "Daddy, what is that?" What will I answer?
Well, it'd be like, hey, if you're a girl, look between your legs. Huh?
No. Yeah, you're right.
Well, this is a funny thing. Oh my goodness, there's a vagina. Like, what do I tell the kids? Tell the kids that's what they emerged from. That's what you tell them.
Joe High, keeping it real.
Yeah. Uncle Joey, is there such thing as Santa Claus? No. Where do kids come from? Storks.
Didn't think it was cool. It's worse the government allowed this to be done in a public park. Others celebrated the unique artwork, with trans cartoonist Larte Coutinho writing on Twitter that there was a lot to think about with the sculpture. One person referred to it as amazing and beautiful, while another wrote, "I loved it. An intimate part of us exposed with such beauty."
Say, hey, I'm looking at this thing, and I'm seeing pictures of it, and there's a picture of it where it's like, maybe like a mile away, and it's very brilliant red, and it's like, surrounded by green, and he's got this pink mass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's arousing.
Yeah. Look, I'll say it right now. I'm all about the vagina.
Yeah.
I love it.
We should probably have more of them, more sculptures.
We should. And I'm not opposed to this. I think the more vagina, the better.
Yeah, and that we can agree. Now, somewhere there's going to be either like a non Joe O'Brien who's going to be like, well, what about having a large phallic symbol? And to that, your answer would be?
Well,
I'll tell you my answer.
What's your answer?
Hell no. It's ridiculous. Why would anyone want to see that?
Nobody wants to see more phallics.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to see a phallic, go look at the Washington Monument.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can agree on that.
Who's that comedian who's talking about? He was talking about porn. It might have been Dave Chappelle. I don't know who it was. But
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more than a couple comedians talking about porn.
I only want one penis in my dreams.
Yeah, that was Dave Chappelle.
Fantasies. Was that Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, I think that the joke was his girlfriend asked him to do a threesome, and he's like, well, of course that means you're two women and one me, right? And she's like, no. And to that, his response was, my dreams have all my fantasies only have one penis.
Exact. Yeah, that's what I think of. According to artist Juliana, Diva was intended to question the relationship between nature and culture in our phallic-centric and anthropocentric Western society. Wow.
Jigga, what?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, a couple. Can you say it again, like really fast 3 times? And there's no shame if you can't. Actually, maybe a little shame.
Question the relationship between nature and a culture in a phallocentric and anthrocentric Western society. Question the relationship between nature, culture, and our phallocentric and anthropocentric Western society. Question the relationship between nature and culture in our phallocentric and anthropocentric Western society.
Yeah. You get honorable mention.
Yeah, sounded like Joe Biden.
Now
that was making fun of me. Not Joe. Was I making? No, I take it back. I don't make fun of Joe.
Well, I mean, you can make fun of me, but you shouldn't make fun of the president for being an old man.
Right. Sorry.
Because because I'm pretty sure we're never going to get old. We'll be young forever. But for those unfortunate souls that age does creep up on, we need to be sensitive to them.
If only. As well as provoke debate over problematization of gender. Problematization. I don't even understand that. Apparently referencing Jair Bolsonaro's presidency, Notari wrote in the Facebook post, nowadays these issues have become increasingly urgent. I guess that is a right-wing
Now, the thing is, I'm sure the people whoever put up this vagina sculpture, they're probably quite sympathetic to women's issues, but
there's a picture of her in this Daily Mail article, and yeah, she hits all the I don't judge books by their covers, but sometimes there's just hints. And so I'm looking at this picture of her, and she's an otherwise attractive woman.
Yeah, see, I don't understand this whole not judging books by their covers. I think you should judge books by their covers because most book covers have titles on them. And so, you wouldn't pick up a book that said, engineering text, and then start reading it and be like, I'm not going to judge a book by its cover, even though this clearly says engineering. Right. So
I feel you, man.
Yeah, I think you should judge. I think you should judge books by their covers if the covers have the titles on them.
I can agree with that.
Okay, good.
Now I did put this. I took this from my cell phone because I came across this article one sleepless night in bed when I was scrolling around and browsing sites and whatnot, and do you see the humor in what I have here?
Yeah, so you were rolling around in bed late at night, and somehow this vagina sculpture pops up. What were you looking up, man?
But no, I was looking up specifically for this. But do you not see the hilarity in the ad that was injected right below this?
Wait, are you pointing something I don't?
You gotta look at the show notes.
Oh, wait. Let's see. Let me go to that. A moment.
Yeah.
I've got to go back to that.
Sorry about that. I thought we were looking at the same thing. My bad.
No, I went. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same chick or person.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's just the way ads are. You're never going to get the same ad injected in the same
Fair enough.
place. That's why I took the screenshot off my phone.
Let me go
It was
down.
too good. This is honestly how I.
Yeah, I saw this before. And I'll see the ad. Let's see here a moment. 5 Wars Food for Men.
I'm just talking about the giant banana.
Yeah, it's a banana. 5 first. Yeah, it's appropriate.
Roll a condom over the banana and it's good to go.
Oh, depends on how. I mean, I was going to say something that's out of pocket. So I won't.
Oh, my joke has fallen flat. It obviously wasn't as funny as I thought it was, but anyway.
Condom over the banana with the vagina sculpture. I get it. Maybe I'm slower on the draw.
People can check out the show notes if you're interested in that, seeing that. But anyway,
she looks pretty proud of herself.
She does, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look what she got. She got a 33-meter vagina. She actually got people to build that for her and paint it.
Yeah, she's probably thinking suckers.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, it ain't the worst vagina I've ever seen.
Yeah, you get lost. Well, you can get lost in that. You can trip and hurt yourself.
Yeah. I wonder how many listeners we've lost by now.
Or how many we've gained. Or how many people have thrown their phone or their listening device out the window.
Yeah. I wonder, you know what? Before we... It looks like Joan never got reconnected, damn it. Anyway. I'll do it next week. I had one clip that had this classical music playing in the background, and it kind of took away from the clip, but I was hoping that real life Joan, who is a classical music aficionado, would be able to hear it and tell me the name of it so that I could find it.
She could.
Yeah, but I can't.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that next week because
when you get send it my way and I'll run it by her.
Okay. And it's the same. It's the violin. It's like that you always hear on like all the Sherlock Holmes TV show, the old TV show, and I don't know if the new movies have it or not, but Sherlock Holmes is known for playing the violin, and that's the song he's always playing. So I was hoping that she would be able to hear that and let me know what piece it was. So I'll send that your way and see what she says.
Please do.
Yeah. And so, like I said, if you're still listening, thank you. Thanks for hanging around. I promise next week's skullduggery story will be non-sexual and
I don't see anything sexual about this.
Well,
I mean, there's a sex organ involved, but there's nothing sexual.
Well, that's true. Yeah. If anyone uses a picture of that for masturbatory material, they got bigger issues.
Yeah.
Nothing sexual about it.
Yeah, and one of those bigger issues is failure to comprehend how to use the internet.
Exactly.
Like if that's what you ended up on, if you're looking for masturbatory material, and that's what you found your way to, you made a lot of mistakes in life, and lead a generally sad life because porn is not very hard to come across on the internet.
That may be true, but let's not criticize our potential audience. We're all about whatever floats your boat, man.
Yeah.
There's no kink shaming here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're part of the hairy palm contingent, hey, you're welcome.
Oh, I think we got to go, Joe. We're dangerously close to coming off the rails here.
All right, well, we can't get off the rails, and certainly not off the chain. So how do you recommend we deal with this?
Well, I think we just we thank our people for listening. Actually, again, I forgot to do this earlier, but if you're listening to this on YouTube, like this episode, I think this is one of our better ones. You need to know, really. I think probably a lot of our earlier episodes was me and Joe, for the most part, getting along and agreeing on things, and now I think recently you're starting to hear maybe a more representative
Of what our conversations were, yeah.
of what our drinking sessions used to be like.
I think they were more ruckus.
They might. There probably were some that were for sure.
But part of me says, like, although one of the goals of the show is showing people how to disagree and not be calling each other names and wanting to fight and go to fisticuffs over it. That to me, that's one of the themes of the show that in the beginning of the show we did agree probably more. I think even your friends and my friends have commented on that. Like, wait a second.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, without sounding too mushy, we always left the bar together. Never, no one ever got up and stormed. No one ever got up and stormed out. We always paid the bill at the same time, and we always.
Really good. We'll be here next week.
Well, yeah, we'll be here. Instead of 7 days, we'll be here in 5 days.
Yeah.
Hopefully, work permitting.
Yeah, and to Brian's credit, every week he would show up and be routinely wrong on all the issues, and take the verbal lashing that would come, and he was a good guy about it. Like,
I'll accept it for everyone else.
He'd be like, okay, Brian, now it's time to do that thing you do. Holding your head in shame and admitting that you're wrong. Right. It's time.
Yep, it's that time, and I'll be back, and do it again. So
thank you, sir. May I have another?
All right, Joe. Let's get out of here. We'll chat later. Take care.
I like it. Bye-bye.